Anniversaries can be special days, but what about when an anniversary marks a tragic event? With us today is Dr. Steve Margeotes. He is the executive director of the Main Street Counseling Center in West Orange, New Jersey, and he's here to talk about marking those special days on our personal calendars. And thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
Always good to see you. Let's talk about the significance of an anniversary, whether it's a good anniversary or a bad one. Let's talk about that first.
I think you have to acknowledge it. Good or bad, something that's happened to your life. And I think it's important to deal with the fact that this event has impacted you in some way, positively or negatively.
All right, let's talk about when something does mark, whether it's a death, maybe something like 9/11. When it's something that hurts a person, what do you do then?
I think you have to mourn. I think you have to acknowledge what happened, and I think you have to come up with your own mourning process for that event that's occurred, whether it directly impacts you or if it's something nationwide that still has a significance to you.
What about the time for that? And, you know, we just marked the 11th anniversary of 9/11. A lot of people were saying, well, maybe that's too long to continue to mourn. Is there a proper time or a proper period to mourn, and when is too long?
I don't think there's any timetable. I don't think there's any shoulds in life. I think as long as you need to mourn or celebrate an event, go for it.
Okay. What about anniversaries and how they impact your emotional health?
They do something to you, and I think it's important to acknowledge what they do to you. Sometimes it could be a celebration, sometimes it could be sadness, but I think every event that you've experienced does something to your mental health. And I think to deny that these anniversaries have done anything to you, I think is foolish, and it'll hurt you in the long run.
If it's a tragic event, how can an anniversary impact your emotional health?
Sadness, depression, crying, feeling blue. It could be a type of, it could be a season, it could be an event that's coming up each year. I think you have to prepare for it and prep for it. I think the most important thing is not to deny it. This thing has happened to you, good or bad. It doesn't make you a bad person or a great person, but it's had an impact on you.
What about when, say, you have a friend or a family member, and they still are recognizing an anniversary of something tragic? What should a person do?
I think what you have to do is respect their need to celebrate. It puts you in a tough position if you don't feel like celebrating with them or mourning with them. I think, but everybody has their own timetable, and I think that it's really important to acknowledge that for whatever reason, this is important to you or to a family member.
Let's take the flip side.
Go ahead.
And we've got the happy occasion. It's the 1-year anniversary of a couple. We've all heard the stories. Sometimes the men forget. I don't think the women ever do, but the men sometimes forget, and that can be hurtful.
I think that it needs to be acknowledged, and I think when it isn't, it needs to be brought up. You know, maybe there's some pain associated with that 1-year anniversary. Maybe it's not as important to one person as it is to the other. I think the key is not to let those feelings go underground. You know, when you have resentments and you're upset that you don't do anything with it, that's worse. Anniversaries for some people are more important than for other people. You see that with birthdays too.
Sure.
But I think,
what should you do then if it's more important to one person and less important to the other? I guess the word is compromise if you're in a relationship, but
respect both.
Okay.
You want to make a big deal out of it, good. You want to downplay it, downplay it. I think the key is, no, it has to be this way. It has to be a big celebration. Or it has to be, you know, we have to downplay it to the point that we don't even acknowledge it. What do you need is the key with birthdays and anniversaries. It's
just amazing, though, that anniversaries create this kind of, sometimes I guess we could say it's tension.
It's pressure. It is tension. It's tension and pressure. You're supposed to do it this way. You see that all the time when it's anniversary. It has to be a big deal. It has to be something really significant. And maybe you want it to be a low-key event. You're still acknowledging it. I think the key is what's good for you.
So I guess it's what's good for you, and to respect one another's wishes. I guess.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Steve Margeotes. Always good to see you here at Ebru today. Thanks so much for checking in.